You were put here to do something great. I really hope that that is a belief system in you and that right now we're probably not living up to our potential. You're probably not doing all the things that you need to do, myself included. We're probably not doing all of the things that we know we should be doing to get to the life that we deserve. We're probably not doing it. That's why we're here. That's why you're on these calls. Because again, the world is not going to push you in that direction of becoming great, of becoming the highest, grandest expression of yourself, becoming the best version of yourself. As Ed says, when you get to heaven to meet the person that God actually called you to be, are you going to know who that person is? Are they going to feel like you're a twin? It's like, man, I know you, I understand. Or are you going to be completely far away from that person? Like you're not even going to know who that person is when you get a chance to meet them. We only get one life, y'all. We only get one of these. And so that's why we work every single day to constantly become better. Some things that Ed was talking about in there. You're one decision away from changing your life. I want this to be in your belief system, not just something I'm telling you, not just something you're hearing. Like you have to actually rewire your brain and your nervous system to believe these things. Like you are literally one decision away from your life changing. You're one phone call away. You're one relationship away. You're one decision away from your entire life changing. It could be, like he said, adding a relationship. It could be removing a relationship. It could be something in your health. It could be something in your spiritual life. It could be something in your business, in your finances. Like you're literally making one decision could change the whole thing for you. Do you know what that decision is? And if you do, why aren't you making it? I know it's hard. Don't let that be the excuse just because it's hard. I get it. Life is hard. But if you're one decision away from changing your life, I would encourage you to figure out what that is and make that decision because that's how we get to this ideal life, y'all. He said, your obsessions become your possessions. Your obsessions become your possessions. We would hear the word obsessed and often give it a negative connotation. But what if you're obsessed with your future, the future version of yourself? What if you're obsessed with your dreams? What if you're obsessed with the life that your family gets to live, the legacy? Like, what if you're obsessed with that? Then guess what? You'll get that. Most people, like Ed said, aren't obsessed with that. We're obsessed with the fears, the thoughts, the worries, the things that we try to say we're not, but actually our brains are focused on that. That's why we get more of that in our life. So, how do you reprogram your brain? How do you reprogram your nervous system to do this? Is you have to constantly, this is what we talked about literally on Friday, you have to constantly feed your vision. You have to get obsessed with feeding yourself what up ahead looks like. You have to feed it to yourself. It's not just going to stay there because you're feeding yourself all the stimulus in the world, all the external things, all the things that are happening at your job, in your family, on the internet, all this. That's actually what you're feeding yourself. So if you're not intentional about feeding yourself about what you want, about what's up ahead, about the things you want to possess, it's likely you won't get obsessed by them. So you won't have them. I know, easier said than done. I'm gonna constantly tell y'all that because I hear it. I work with a lot of you and I work with a lot of people that when we start talking about the things you know you should do, somewhere in the back of our mind, we say, this is hard. This is going to be hard. I don't like this. Like, that's how our brains operate. It's there to keep us safe. So I just want to remove that as an excuse from you. Everything's going to be hard. Life is going to get harder. I've said this to you guys plenty of times. So you have to, again, understand this. Life doesn't get easier. We get stronger or not. It's your choice. Don't think that life will be easier. It's not. I'm just taking that off the table. Life does not get easier. We have the ability to get stronger, to have more capacity to handle life or not. You can choose to not get stronger, and life will keep beating you up. And it'll get harder and harder and harder until eventually you give up. Or you can get stronger. You can get mentally stronger, spiritually stronger, emotionally stronger, physically stronger. Like you can actually continue to grow your capacity and then you can handle whatever life has. This is how you have to think about this stuff, y'all. This is how we get to that ideal life. He lastly talked about identity, that thermostat example. I love that example. I've heard him talk about it a bunch, but that thermostat example of like you have a thermostat set in your life for what you will allow in your health life, in your financial life, in your relationships, in your business. Like you have a level of your identity. That's who you believe you are. It's who you believe you are. I've made this example, and again, not everything has to go towards your finances or your money, but just understand you have a financial identity. You take the amount of money you've made the most in 1 year in your entire life. You take 1 year worth of earnings and you say, this is how much the most I've earned in my entire life in 1 year. That's your financial identity. You've never been able to out earn that in all your years of working, you've never been able to out earn your financial identity. Now all of a sudden you want to be like, I want to make 500,000. I want to make $1 million a year. I want to make whatever that number is, but your financial identity is down here. Well, there's no way for you to make that money because you can't out earn your identity. What do you have to do? You have to believe that you are worth more. You have to know you've done more work than other people. You have to believe you have a better skill set than other people. You have to believe that you've done the work to actually acquire the money that you're looking for. That raises your identity. Then your money catches up. That's how it works. That's the thermostat that Ed's talking about. It's you got to raise your what level of health identity do you have? If you're like, my family's always eating this way, this is always the way. I know everyone's overweight. I know people have diabetes. Like, if that's your identity, you have to be like, no, I don't accept that. Like, here's my identity. And then your health habits catch up. You can't out earn your identity. You can't move beyond what you believe, your thoughts, beliefs, and actions that you have about yourself. They can be conscious, they can be subconscious. They can be things that just have been instilled in you by your family, by your peers, by the people around you that isn't even your thoughts. But you have to be so aware of those things. You have to be aware of your identity. That's the only way we break out of it. Last thing he said is, how desperate are you? Are you desperate? He said it's desperation that allows us to take the actions that are necessary. And sometimes we avoid being desperate. Again, all these ways, you know, the thesis of these calls, y'all. If you change your thinking, you change your life. If you change the way you think about something, you change your life. So maybe you're thinking around what it means to be desperate. Maybe it's not helping you get to where you want to go. Maybe you should see desperation as the catalyst to help you get out of your issues, get out of the problems, change your financial life. Like, I heard somebody say this before, like we have a way of softening things to ourselves so that we don't feel bad about it. Take the health side. Sometimes you're like, oh, I need to lose a little weight. I'm a little overweight. It's different than being like, man, I'm obese. Man, I'm going to die soon if I don't get this on track. That's completely different language. The one is a nurturing, like, it's okay. I'm a little overweight. I just need to lose a little weight. I just need to do a little bit. There's no desperation in that. But the desperation of, man, I'm obese. Man, my heart's going to stop on me one day. Man, I'm going to die soon if I don't. That puts you in a place of desperation, but we don't like talking to ourselves that way. We don't like doing that. We don't like doing that in our finances. Like, oh, I just need to budget a little better. Oh, I just need to track. No, I'm poor. No, I'm gonna be poor for the rest of my life if I don't change this. No, no, no. My kids are gonna not have anything that they want. They're gonna be in a position that I don't want them to be in. We don't talk to ourselves that way because we don't like that feeling of having to be desperate, of knowing that we're at a very low place. But what if that was the catalyst? What if you just thinking about these things a little bit differently caused you to put some action to your step, right? Caused you to push yourself in the right direction. Ed Milet called this blissful dissatisfaction. In 177 mental toughness secrets, he calls it happily dissatisfied. It's all the same thing. It's a form of how dissatisfied are you? How desperate are you to get out of your situation? How desperate are you to change your life? It's a desperation. It's like, I have to. Tony Robbins says, we don't get our shoulds, we get our musts. Like, I must get out of this. I must be better in my health. I must change my finances. Not, I should change my health. I should change my, I know I should go to the gym. We don't get our shoulds, we get our musts. And so you have to have these very strong feelings about what you must do to change your life. Again, I'm only talking to you guys because you say you want to go off and change your life. I'm only talking to you this way because this is what it takes to go off and design your ideal life. You can stay exactly where you're at and be comfortable and right, live below your potential and all those things because there's a ton of people out there that want that. But if that's not you, then you have to get this type of dissatisfaction in you. It has to be constant. It has to be constant. You have to be constantly thinking about and acquiring, getting to the man or woman God called you to be, which means you have to change yourself on a daily basis. Ed Milet said it, right? The next year's version of you needs to be completely different than this year's version of you. We celebrate birthdays all the time. Oh, another year around the sun. But are you the same person? The reason why you should be celebrating is because you're a completely different human being. That's why you should be celebrating your birthday because God allowed you to see another year. And that year, you went from being a worse version of yourself to a better version of yourself every single year, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of what's happening around you. The beautiful, the green grows in the valley. If you have a valley season, that's a good thing. You can still grow. You can still be better. You even if you have a birthday and then around you, you're like, man, but it's not what I thought it was. And you're in these valley moments, you grow in the valley. You don't necessarily grow on the mountaintop. So there's no excuse to not do it unless we're not focused on it, unless this isn't our mindset, unless we allow the external things to get to us, unless we allow our identity to stay where it is. That's when it's like, oh, well, we didn't do what we needed to do. Here's what it says in the text about champions being happily dissatisfied. It says average people have been labeled somewhat dissatisfied. This level of dissatisfaction probably says more about their lack of belief in themselves than it does about their feeling of contentment. If a person earns $50,000 per year and believes he has the ability to earn $60,000 per year, a low level of dissatisfaction with $50,000 likely results. On the other hand, a person earning $50,000 a year who believes he can earn $500,000 is a very dissatisfied with his results. World-class performers understand the power of a healthy dissatisfaction and are in a never-ending quest to raise their level of expectation and upgrade their beliefs. While average people believe if you don't expect much, you won't be disappointed, champions believe the only way I'll be disappointed is if I don't take the risk and give it my all. This is a classic example of how directly opposite philosophies drive these two groups. The results are obvious. The middle class ends up playing it safe in order to gain comfort and security. The world class becomes the movers and shakers. A good description of the world class is happily dissatisfied. The great ones are in the habit of playing the game of life without a net, and it all begins with the pain of being dissatisfied with their current results. Are you in pain? Do you feel that pain? Do you allow that pain to set in so it pushes you to do what you know you need to do? Or do you seek comfort? Do you seek comfort? Like, this is such, when I tell you guys to push yourself out of your comfort zone, this is why. Naturally, you will seek comfort, and that will be the thing that keeps you exactly where you are. It's tough. It's tough, y'all. I'm telling you, but it's what you need to do. You need to feel the pain. You need to feel the dissatisfaction. You need to realize exactly where you are. You need to know the things you're not doing. So, and allow that to push you in the direction that you need to go. Happily dissatisfied. Happily dissatisfied. Don't have that saying, because I know we've all heard people say, if you don't expect much, you won't be disappointed. I know we've had people in our life. I know you've had people in your life around you that have said something along those lines. It's okay. You're good here. At least you have a job, right? That's that saying. At least you have this. Yeah, there's plenty of things to be grateful for. Absolutely. And I'm going to be happily dissatisfied to know I'm not doing nearly all that I can do to get to the life that I deserve. You got to push yourself to be happily dissatisfied. You got to feel that dissatisfaction. As Ed Milet says, you got to get desperate. You got to get desperate to change your situation. You got to get desperate to change your relationship. You got to get desperate to change your financial life. Like you got to really get desperate about it, y'all. That's what's going to push you. We can't go week after week after week doing the same things, feeling the same ways, and expecting our lives to change. The definition of insanity, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. That's that's insanity. You're insane if you believe that I can just keep doing the same thing over and over and something different is going to happen. It's not the way it works. You have to do something different in order to get a different result. So if you want a different result in your health, in your finances, in your business, in your relationships, in your spiritual life, in any of the areas that you want to grow in any of the decisions you know you need to make, if you want to see growth in those areas, you've got to do something different. And you guys know that starts with your thinking. It starts with what you believe. It starts with what you're saying to yourself in your head. It starts with your thoughts. And where do our thoughts come from? They come from what we consume. If you're not consuming good things, it's likely you won't have good thoughts, which means you won't get good outcomes. You got to change some of these things, y'all, to get to the life you want. The action step for today says if you're satisfied in every area of your life, ask why. Are you content because you're truly content, or are you content because you don't believe you are capable of accomplishing or becoming more? Are you just satisfied because you're satisfied, you're content? Or is there a belief in you that says, I don't know if I'm capable of doing more. I don't know if I can become more. I don't know if I can raise my identity. I don't know how to do this. This is going to be really tough. Like, where's your belief? And I'm gonna challenge you again. If that is your belief, let's wipe that one off and know that you can do anything that you set your mind to. We used to tell kids that all the time, right? You've heard that a bunch. You can do anything you set your mind to. You can be, do, become anything you want. Now that you're at your age and stage, do you still believe it? Do you still believe you can become the woman that God called you to be, the man that God called? Do you really believe it? Or is life beating you down so much that it's like, I don't even know if I want that. I don't even know if I believe that. I don't even know if I can. You can have anything, be anything, become anything that you want to be. Just like Ed said, he goes out to give of himself, to give service. Like, this is what I'm here to do, is to remind you of those things. You guys can make it happen. You got to believe it's possible. You got to know you can do it. You got to know that there's greatness inside of you. You got to know that you can go off and do all the things you want to do in life. It's just going to take some work. All right. I love you guys. I want y'all to win. You deserve to win. Your families deserve it. That's right, Dana. That's right, Dana. You guys deserve this thing, but you got to go out and do the work. You got to shift your mindset. You got to get around good people. You got to listen to good things. You got to actually like do this stuff. Don't just be hearers of this stuff and show up, but like actually do it. Actually do the hard work and watch your life change. I promise you it's going to happen. You just got to stay consistent. I love you guys. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Take care.